Hi guys, and welcome to another video. I know I've been gone for a bit. I took a hiatus after graduating art school due to the burnout, but I'm back. I was scrolling through Instagram one day recently when I came across a reel by the makeup artist Freya Berman. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Her handle is F.Berman, by the way. She did a series of makeup looks inspired by the planets. Her avant-garde editorial style of makeup really screamed ethereal to me. I already have a couple characters that I've designed based on celestial objects. The main two, Selene and Aurora, are based on the moon and the sun. From there, I've designed some side characters. So far, I've created Mercury and Venus, who are Aurora, the sun goddess's friends. I've also designed Earth, who is the friend and mentor of Selene, the moon goddess. I mainly use these characters to tell Aurora and Selene's story through short comics. I've been wanting to design the rest of the Pantheon for such a long time, and once I saw Freya's post, I had all the inspiration and motivation I needed to get started. Just a quick disclaimer, Freya did not include a look for Earth in the post I've found. For that reason, I've skipped our lovely Earth for now, and hope that I can revisit it if she does a look specifically for our planet. And now let's get to the speed paints. First we have Mercury. Mercury was the second side character I designed early on, the first being Earth. I don't dig too deep into astrology for these characters. I mainly focus on vibes and scientific facts for inspiration. You'll find that I do apply some of my basic astrology knowledge to them, but most of it is just vibes. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, therefore my Mercury was designed to be one of Aurora's closest friends. Mercury is associated with both femininity and masculinity. For this reason, my Mercury was born female but identifies as non-binary transmasc. They've had top surgery, and they also have a tattoo of Mercury's astrological symbol on their left arm. Mercury's personality is highly inspired by the concept of retrograde. We've all heard that Mercury being in retrograde is the root of all of our problems. What I find interesting is that retrograde is a misunderstanding. When Mercury is in retrograde, it appears to be moving backwards in its orbit. The reality is that it's slapping us. Kind of like how when a train is moving faster than cars, the cars appear to be moving backwards to passengers on said train. Based on this, I believe my Mercury is often misunderstood. Maybe they are neurodivergent and don't always say things in a way others get. Venus was also designed early on before I started this makeup project. She's probably the most on-the-nose depiction of the planets, at least astrologically. Venus in astrology is based on the Roman goddess of love, beauty, desire, and sex. In my story, she's definitely the matchmaker of the Pantheon. She loves the juicy gossip about who's with who, and being the second closest to the sun, she knows immediately when Aurora is crushing on Selene. She has a sixth sense about this sort of thing. For Mars, I wanted to somewhat divert expectations. Mars is typically associated with masculinity, being named after the Roman god of war. I sat there and thought about drawing a beefy man. Then I had a revelation. What about a beefy woman? Of course, I had to pull reference, and what better reference of a beefy woman than Karlach from Baldur's Gate 3? I've never played the game, but I've yearned for Karlach from a distance. So yeah, I don't know anything about the game past that all the characters are hot. Speaking of hot, I'm pretty proud of how my hottie Mars character turned out. The next three were designed several days after Mars. In that time, I had forgotten the rule that I had made for myself and gave Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus realistic skin tones instead of the more colorful skin tones I had given the rest. I fixed this near the end of each speed paint. Jupiter is named after the Roman god of sky and thunder. Although Jupiter is often the head of the Pantheon, he is not in my story. The head of the Pantheon in my story is Time, followed closely by Aurora. I still wanted Jupiter to feel powerful, but not in charge. more like a father figure than a leader. I struggled finding a skin tone that matched the planet's color scheme without looking like a pale, dead skin tone. I decided to go with the dark teal to make the makeup stand out. I had previously designed a character based on Saturn a couple of years ago. It was inspired by my story, but wasn't necessarily tied to it. It was more like an alternate universe. I wanted to take the vibes of that Saturn and apply it to a new design. I remember using photos of Bruno Mars as outfit reference for that design, so I used him once again as reference here. I would have to say this is my least favorite design out of the 8 I did. I couldn't get the skin color to do what I wanted as I was battling with the same thing that I did with Jupiter. I settled on this mustard yellow, and it's just not my favorite. For Uranus, I wanted a hyper-feminine vibe. Uranus is technically gender neutral, but for my character, I wanted to get away from the jokes 12-year-olds make about the name. To do that, I wanted her to have class. I think this class was also inspired by the makeup. Very demure, very cutesy. I think this is one of my favorites out of the 8 I created. I'm actually kind of sad that I had to change the skin tone to an unnatural one. I was proud of the contrast between the skin and the makeup before that. For Neptune, I once again diverted expectations. I know most of the Pantheon is women, but the more women the better. I joke. Mostly. Neptune is named after the Roman god of freshwater and the sea. I've always thought of the ocean as more of a feminine entity, so I went with that. She has a pearl necklace to indicate her connection to the sea. I like this piece, but it doesn't feel very Neptune-y to me. I think it's the bright pink accent color. It works on Freya, but something just didn't translate to my version. Yes, it's Pluto time, and yes, I'm still salty that Pluto isn't considered a planet anymore. To nod to the planets in between status, I wanted to take some inspiration from fairies. They're human-like, and they're small. Just how Pluto is planet-like and small. It's a perfect one-to-one. Don't argue with me. And yes, the fairy I used as reference was Alina from Barbie Fairytopia. I was feeling nostalgic, what can I say? And there we have it, 8 characters based off of 8 makeup looks. Once again, a shout out to Freya Berman, or F.Berman on Instagram. Her looks are amazing and a great inspiration. I'm hopefully back to making more regular content, so look forward to that. If you haven't already, please subscribe and show support. Lots of love and have a great rest of your day.